joys of life, these successes of life are temporary.
Yes, sir.
Thank God that our sorrows, our pain, our problems and perplexities are only temporary. We may cry long and we may cry hard. Dr. Raven, weeping may endure for a moment, but joy comes in the morning. This world can only pacify the ills that we have to struggle with. This world can only give us a temporary fix to help alleviate the excruciating pain. But mind you, it is only temporary. Thank God for your doctors. But know, if you please, every doctor, Dr. Kimball, is only practicing. He or she do not have the full spectrum. They are only practicing medicine. And whatever they do to you or for you, it is only temporary. The radiologist, the x-ray, the neurologist, working on your nerves, the anesthesiologist, who works with pain, the gastrologist, who deals with your stomach, cardiologist, who works on your heart, pulmonologist, who works with your lungs, a new pulmonologist, who deals with your kidneys, the audiologist, who deals with your hearing, the rheumatologist, who deals with your arthritis, the dermatologist, who deals with your skin, ophthalmologist, who deals with your eyes, pathologist, who deals with your foot, oncologist, who deals with cancer, the psychologist, who deals with your mind. All of these individuals can only pacify the pain that you and I struggle with. But the good thing is, we long for the day when we will move from being just pacified to being totally satisfied. We long for the day. We long for the day. My grandfather's mentor would put it this way, Dr. Ward, when we step out of the narrow circumscriptions of time into the unlimitable expanses of eternity, we long for the day. We long for the day when dust will surrender to divinity. We long for the day. We long for the day when the terrestrial will transform and become the celestial. We long for the day. We long for the day when the creature will have sweet communion with the Creator. We long for the day. We long for the day when we will step out of time into eternity. We long for the day. We long for the day to make a transition from the land of some more to the land of no more. And when we make our arrival, Pastor Smith, then and only then, we will be totally satisfied. Satisfied. Now, I want to rush on. I'll be done after a while. The reason why one day that we can enjoy full satisfaction. The reason why one day you and I will be able to rejoice with full satisfaction is because years ago on a hill called Calvary, what Jesus did on the cross, God was satisfied. And because God was satisfied by the death of his son Jesus, because God was pleased to bruise his only begotten son, because God was satisfied then, you and I can look forward to being satisfied in the future. God was satisfied. According to Romans 3:25, God was satisfied. What Jesus did on the cross was the apex of love. He was satisfied. On the cross, he gave his head to the crown. He gave his back to the cross. Gave his hands to the ribbon. Gave his feet to the nails. Gave his side to the sword. Gave his mother to John. Gave his body for our edification. Gave water for regeneration. And gave blood for salvation. Thank God for what he did on the cross. At the cross, we got answers for our agonies. At the cross, we got a blessing for the burden. At the cross, we got a cure for the calamity. At the cross, we got a diagnosis for our disease. At the cross, we got energy and our errors have been erased. At the cross, no longer are we headed to hell. We are now on the highway to heaven because of the cross. We got mercy for our matters. At the cross, we got peace for the pain. At the cross of Jesus indeed satisfied our Lord. Somebody asked the question, Maze, why do we call this the apex of his love? Well, when you read John 3:16, all through John 16, the word love keeps popping up over and over and over again. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, and whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. The apex of God's love. Let's break it down. For this is the purpose of God's love. God, this is the person of God's love. So, this is the degree of God's love. Love, this is the act of God's love. This is the object of God's love. World that he gave, this is the proof of God's love. His, this is the possession of God's love. Only, this is the uniqueness of God's love. Begotten, this is the value of God's love. Son, This is the gift of God's love. That whosoever, this is the scope of God's love. Believe it. This is the simplicity of God's love. In, this is the location of God's love. Him, this is the attraction of God's love. Should not perish. This is the prevention of God's love. But this is the contrast of God's love. Have, this is the guarantee of God's love. Everlasting, this is the duration of God's love. Life, this is the quality of God's love. No wonder they call this the apex of God's love. Thank God, God indeed has been satisfied. And because God has been satisfied, you and I have forward, we look forward to the day when we too will be truly satisfied. Now give me about 5 more minutes and I'll be done now. So now Big Daddy, you said when you wake up, you'll be satisfied. What is it in heaven that will satisfy us? There are 7 things in heaven that will make us satisfied. Now, because I love alliteration, they all begin with the letter R. Our Redeemer is there. Our relatives are there. The residence is there. The reward is there. Our riches are there. Rest is there. And our reservation is there. No wonder we will be satisfied. Number 1, our Redeemer. The Redeemer is there. The Redeemer, who was older than his mother, but yet the same age as his father. The Redeemer is there, who has a footprint on the cloud and a fingerprint on the sun. He has a fingerprint on the cloud, on the sun, because he held the sun for Joshua. But he has a footprint on the cloud because when he went home, he stepped on the cloud. The Redeemer. As a baby, he disturbed the king. As a 12-year-old boy, he intimidated doctors and lawyers. As a 30-year-old man, he hushed and lullabied the waves to sleep. As a 33-year-old man, his death set the standard that time cannot erase. For when we read Matthew, we see the genealogy of Jesus. When we read Mark, we see the psychology of Jesus. When we read Luke, we see the sociology of Jesus. And when we read John, we see the theology. Y'all ain't talking. The Redeemer. Thank God for the Redeemer. The Redeemer has no equals. No, down here, I'm about done now. Down here, if I name somebody, you can compare them with somebody else. If I said Dallas Cowboys, you can say New Orleans Saints. If I said Ford, you can say Chevrolet. If I said Lamborghini, you can say Porsche. If I said Mercedes-Benz, you can say Bentley. If I said Serena, You can say Sharia. If I say Hank Aaron, you can say Jackie Robinson. You understand, don't you? But if I say Jesus, who can you compare Jesus to? He's in a class all by himself. This Jesus, who's lustrous in his love, adorned in his authority, bewitched in beauty, clothed in celestial, draped in dignity. This Jesus, friend to the friendless, hero of heaven, mightiest in meekness, strongest in sweetness, operator, architect of oceans and oases. Who else can compare to our Redeemer? I'll be satisfied with the Redeemer, but then I'll be satisfied with the relatives. The relatives. Well, go on and sleep, Big Daddy. You'll be satisfied when you see the relatives. Pop, John Doctrine, his grandfather will be there. Lucinda, his grandmother, she'll be there. His mother, not yet, his mother, Bessie, she'll be there. Airline, his aunt, will be there. Hattie Daughtry, his aunt, would be there. Mary Lee Miles, his aunt, would be there. His sister, Mildred, would be there. His sister, Mary Jones, would be there. His brother, T. Jones, James Jones, will be there. He'll be satisfied with the relatives. But not only that, his grandchildren will be there. Ain't Coqueets? I remember little Christopher. Little Christopher will be there. My brother Charles, y'all ain't talking, will be there. The relatives will be there. His father, Jeff Jones, will be there. The relatives will be there. I'll be satisfied just seeing the relatives. But then the residents, satisfied with the residents. You know, down here, you do a lot of moving. You move from here to there. He moved from Long Street to Shreveport. Then moved over on to Hollywood, and then moved to Hollywood Heights, and then moved to Galilee Garden. He did a lot of moving. But when he get there, his residence will be there. You do know this world is not our home. We only here for a little while. Well, now, not only is he satisfied, with the relatives and the residents, but he'll be satisfied with the rewards. The rewards will be there. Brother preachers, they tell us that there are 5 crowns that we'll get. The crown of righteousness, the crown of rejoicing, the crown of glory. I wish I had something. The 5 crowns. You'll be satisfied with the reward. Slippers on your feet, a long white robe. You'll be satisfied with the rewards. But not only would you be satisfied with the reward, you'll be satisfied with rest. can truly get rest. Every time you try to go to sleep, seems like something disturbs your rest. You try to lay down, and not yet. At night, the bullets are shooting. And at night, the ambulances are rolling. At night, the policemen, their vehicles are squealing. You can't fully rest at night. Dogs are barking and folk knocking on your door. Negroes be creeping. You can't fully rest at night. If it ain't one thing, it's something else. You iron out one problem, and another one come streaming down. You get one thing straight, and something else will go wrong. It's always something. But when we get on the other side, we will be able to rest. Our rest will not be interrupted. We will be able to rest. Rest from your labor. Rest from your assignment. Rest from your parchment. Rest from serving the community. The wicked will cease from troubling, and the weary would be at rest. Well, no wonder he will be satisfied. He will be satisfied with the Redeemer. He will be satisfied with the relatives. He will be satisfied with the residents. He will be satisfied with the rewards. He will be satisfied with the rest. But you can't get in unless you have a reservation. We will be satisfied because he has made the reservation. And everyone that hear my voice, whose name is written in the Lamb's book in glory, you have a reservation. If you have passed from darkness to light, you have a reservation. You can come in now. If you know what it means to have a love for the brethren, you know what it means to have a revelation. If you look at your hands and your hands look new, look at your feet and your feet did too, you have a reservation. If you were running in your feet, clapping in your hand, joy in your heart, you have a revelation. Go on and sleep, Big Daddy. You will be satisfied. 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 When you get there, you will be satisfied. The children will be qualified. Heaven will be sanctified. God will be glorified. Jesus will be magnified. The saints will be sanctified. Demons would be petrified. Satan would be horrified. But Big Daddy would be satisfied. Anybody in here will be satisfied. Are you on your way to be satisfied? Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. If he pick you up, turn you around, put running in your feet, clapping in your hand, say so, I will be satisfied. Are you on your way? Are you on your way? Will you be satisfied? Yeah. Big Daddy, will you give God a hand for the life of my grandfather? And Big Daddy, if we don't see you no more, we'll see you in the morning, satisfied.